Hello gentlemen, I am the one and only Brock and you're about to see this epic documentary about the ancient battle of Shizugatake. Our first expert will be Professor so let's jump right into it. So here we have Professor Professor what can you tell me about the events of the Battle of Shizugatake and how they came to pass?
It was quite a critical battle. It brought the end of the Warring Lords period in Japan and begun the rise of the second great unifier, Hideyoshi. It was in 1583, and like I said, it was during a time of samurai and daimyos, and it was quite critical to the rise of Hideyoshi.
Yeah, indeed, and what were the causes of the battle? And like you said, that it was a very critical battle. So for Hideyoshi, something must have sparked the attack.
Yes, you're quite right. It was initiated by General Katsui, long-time rival.
So here we have Professor Birch with us, an expert of the rise of Hideyoshi, his beginnings and progression through the Nobunaga clan. Hello, Professor. Are you able to tell me anything about how Hideyoshi gained his influence and how he used it to conquer Japan?
Sure thing, Brock. Hideyoshi came from a poor family and lived as a peasant. His father was a farmer and an occasional soldier. Hideyoshi was sent away at a young age to a temple. With an adventurous heart, he was able to escape and join the local militia there. He served for some years until he finally decided to return home and join the Oda clan. The Oda clan at that time was ruled by Oda Nobunaga himself, the first great unifier of Japan. There, he served loyally and rose up through the ranks steadily, earning honour in wars and battles, until he finally got to a place in the clan where he wielded power and influence.
Then came the day of Oda Nobunaga's death on the 21st of June, 1852. Because of his death, this led to a power vacuum in his place. Hideyoshi supported the youngest grandson as the new emperor in favour of the two elder sons. He did this so he would be able to take control over the Nobunaga's clan's power and attempt to unify Japan. Although in doing this he made powerful enemies such as General Shibata Katsui, for they had favoured the older sons and knew of his plans.
So, Professor, how did the Battle of Shizugatake went down?
As we know, Hideyoshi made an enemy in General Shibata Katsui when he took power, and it was only a matter of time before those two conflicted. That time had come exactly 1 year later. Lake Biwa, where the Battle of Shizugatake was held, is a crucial geographical point at that time to Hideyoshi's provinces, so it was an important gateway into his lands. The general knew this, and he wanted to take those series of forts defending that choke point.
Hideyoshi knew about the general's attack, but then why wouldn't he just stay in his province and defend it?
Well, he did know, and they were both waiting at Shizugatake Fort and the other series of forts along the choke point, and they both knew each other were there, but eventually Hideyoshi was forced to leave on urgent business because there had been an uprising in the castle, and so during that time Katsui took his advantage and took his chance to advance.
So once Hideyoshi had left, General Katsui sent for Sakuma Morimosa, his nephew, on orders to initiate a multitude of attacks on the fort. During the siege, multiple forts fell to Sakuma and his samurai, and only one left standing strong, Shizugatake. Hideyoshi heard of the attacks on the forts and set course back to the battle. When General Katsui heard reports that Hideyoshi's army of 20,000 was only 3 days away from the fort, he ordered Sakuma to withdraw the troops from Shizugatake, for fear they would be caught by the returning army. However, Sakuma, who was at the battlefield, decided that he could take down the mountain top before Hideyoshi would be able to engage them. What Sakuma wasn't aware of was that Hideyoshi had led his men on a forced march through the night, covering 50 miles and moving them into a position at the base of the hill within 1 day instead of 3. This enabled them to attack Katsui's forces by surprise and save the fort from being taken. Forced to defend themselves from the new threat, Sakuma and his men were destroyed by Hideyoshi.
So now we have an expert of the Momojama period, the period in which Hideyoshi ruled Professor Oak. What he does with his power in this time can be considered as a long-time consequence of the outcome of the Battle of Shizugatake.
Yeah, so like today we'll be looking at like one of the biggest things Hideyoshi did when he was, ruling. So that was like the invasions of Korea, took place between 1592 and 1598, I think. Yeah, so he pretty much wanted to take over China or take down the Ming Dynasty in China, but to do that, kind of had to go through Korea. So kind of tried to do that actually, fascinating enough because it's called the Korean invasions. And so he invaded them once, but the Ming Dynasty helped out the Koreans because they got really shitty armor and stuff, and they're really weak, so they kind of needed help. And then there was a brief truce, and then Hideyoshi tried again, and yeah, it was kind of just they had to retreat twice. It wasn't really that successful. So yeah, that's all I know. I mean,
thank you.
Am I good now? Can I leave?
Yeah. So as we just learned, the rise of Hideyoshi was very intriguing, and the Battle of Shizugatake was very crucial to win that shaped Japan's history and influenced its future.